Hello, 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 hello. All of my people, day two, who is ready? Let's go. I want to see in the chat who is calling in today. I want to see who's here. Where are you calling from? I want to see it in the chat. My good sis Kaz is here. Hello, Kaz. Calling from down under. And Kaz has that play. Come on, need to play that song. Come on, y'all. Where my people at? Sandra from Iceland. Sandra, what time is it in Iceland? I can't even imagine. Like, what time is it? Okay. Here from Pennsylvania. Sunny is in the house from Aurora. Sunny, fun fact, we got a lot of Colorado people in the house today. Stephanie from Pennsylvania. Lacey from Cleveland. Katie from Auburn. Sandra. Oh, okay. It's 2 p.m. That's not too bad. I love it. Bethlehem, PA is in the house. Hello, Colton. Hello, Brianna. Brianna is back. I remember you, Brianna. Come on now. Ontario in the house. Let's go. Jennifer from Corpus Christi. Stephanie from Grand Rapids. Guatemala. Come on, somebody. Guatemala is in the house. Hello, Maria. Maria, Maria. I don't know. Do you get that a lot? It's okay. Hey, y'all. Okay. Matt from Dallas, Texas. I love it. I love it. Germany is in the house. London, Zurich, Albuquerque. That feels international. That feels like you're abroad in Albuquerque. I love it. Glasgow, y'all. This is blowing my mind. We are calling from all over. And it just makes me think when we say global summit, we mean global summit, right? And when we are saying global summit, we're making global impact, okay? And y'all, what a beautiful and powerful time we are living in right now. We can call in from all over the world with one mission, with one goal, with one intention to use AI to amplify our impact, right? There's nearly 500 people live now, but over 12,000 people have registered for this conference. And that's 12,000 people making a decision that we are not going to let AI hold us back, but propel us forward. Come on, somebody, right? We are saying 12,000 people saying we are decided, we are committed that our mission is going to move us forward. We are going to turn our mission into a movement, right? Amplify impact, y'all, is what our rallying cry is. And we are all making a decision together to shine our light. Okay, I am so excited. I am feeling fired up. I don't know about you, y'all, but I am feeling good. Okay, I want to see in the chat, y'all. I want to see in the chat what was one of your favorite parts from yesterday? What was maybe a favorite speaker, maybe a favorite learning, maybe a favorite session? I want to see what was a favorite thing. What was a favorite thing from yesterday? I want to see it in the chat. Oh, come on. Thank you, Alicia. You my favorite, Alicia. The debate. Oh, let me tell you, the great AI debate. Did y'all catch Benjamin leading the great AI debate? Yeah. Y'all, that was something. That was something. Oh, also, I want to give a shout out to Jacqueline. That was one of my favorite parts from yesterday because Jacqueline didn't play. Okay, Jacqueline said, "I'm here to answer some questions. I'm gonna put some in the comments. I'm gonna be giving emojis." Okay, let me tell you, Rhea was also amazing. I agree, Brianna. Rhea session was fire. Okay, come on, somebody. Well, y'all, I am so excited. Before we dive any deeper, I want to give a couple shout outs, okay? Because y'all think that this is maybe y'all see this being easy. No, it takes a village to put this entire production together, okay? So I want to shout out Candace. I want to shout out Princey. I want to shout out all the other hosts and producers. I want to shout out Nathan, Woodrow, Kelsey, okay? I want to shout out the entire fundraising AI team who put this thing together, Giving Tuesday Virtuous. But y'all, in particular, I have one shout out that I really need to make, okay? And it is with the person who is propelling this whole thing. Listen, where would I be without you? Okay, that person is Jen. Is Jen here? Can we bring Jen to the stage? Is Jen here? Come on, Jen. Jen, are you here? Hold on now. Let me go to Prince. Can they bring
Oh, Floyd, what an intro.
Jen, you are the GOAT. Can y'all give it up for Jen in the chat? I want to see some hearts. Y'all will never know. Y'all see the fancy lights, okay? Because I got a ring light on. Maybe I'm speaking. Maybe you see the people on the stage, but y'all don't see the heartbeat, okay? The heartbeat. You see the hearts going, Jen? That is for the heartbeat that you are putting into this, that you are making happen, okay? And we are just so grateful for you. Jen, how do you feel that this whole thing has happened live and living color?
Oh my gosh, I just saw a comment where someone said it's the best virtual event they've ever attended. And that means the world to all of us, the whole fundraising AI team, the community boost team. You see Floyd, everybody here. We're so excited to have all of you. This event is for you, by you. Your feedback, your input all informs what we do on a day-to-day basis. And this is the culmination of a lot of people's hard work and all of your effort and time spent being with us. So thank you all. This is fantastic. And you will see me on the impact stage today if you come by. So say hello, check out some of our sessions, and our whole day is going to be fantastic. So thank you.
I love that. Well, thank you, Jen. Thank you for all the energy and effort you put behind this. Thank you for finding me. I remember you reached out months ago and you were like, okay, Floyd, so what we going to do? I appreciate you. I appreciate your intention, your heart, your care, and I'm grateful for you, friend.
Thank you. You're my shot of energy this morning. I don't know who else has their coffee, but between coffee, caffeine, and Floyd, I think we're all set.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, friend. All right, y'all. So are y'all ready to get this party started today? Are y'all ready to get this party started today? I want to see ready in the chat. If you are ready, I want to see ready with some capitals. I want to see some emojis. Who's ready, y'all? Helena's ready. Okay, Jen is ready. My B is ready. Katie's ready. Alicia's ready. My sis Kaz is ready. Okay, Pradna's ready. I love it. I love it. Let us go. Okay? All right. Well, y'all, you know the deal. Okay, AI is powerful, but it is you, the humans behind it, who make it meaningful. Okay, this summit is all about centering people. I always say people are your power, right? Community first, and then the currency is gonna come, right? Connection first, and then the currency is gonna come. And y'all, that is what this is all about, the people, right? We are here to amplify impact and show you how to use AI responsibly to save time, deepen connections with your supporters, and amplify the good you can do in the world. So get ready to lean in, okay? Take notes and be inspired, because together we're unlocking the future of fundraising. You know that we have 2 days. This is day 2, which I can't even believe. 63 sessions and over 90 speakers, right? And endless opportunities to learn and connect. I saw a lot of y'all social media posts. I saw a lot of y'all comments on LinkedIn. Keep them coming, okay? It warms our hearts, but it also is continuing to spread the message. I love the message of people talking about what they've learned, what their takeaways are. They tagging us, they tagging other people to tune in. That's what this power is all about, right? Keep the energy going, keep the light flowing, okay? Also, closed captioning, because you know we inclusive over here. Closed caption is available. Just navigate to the bottom right of the stage and you'll see the closed caption icon. Click to turn on closed captioning and select your preferred language. Y'all know how to view the schedule by now, okay? So make sure, even though it's our final day, it's so important. Go up to that schedule on the top right-hand corner of your screen, okay? Scroll through all the different sessions of the day. Anytime you see my face, pretty much. And make sure you bookmark the session that you want to go to, okay? Because it's so great to catch it all live and in living color with your favorite speakers, okay? And make sure you join the sessions that are live when they're taking place. And also, it's going down in the lounge, okay? We love a good lounge session because that is where you get to see your favorite speakers up close and personal. You even can go off mute, okay? What did Beyonce say? Everybody on mute? Well, it's the opposite in the lounge, okay? You can go off mute, you can turn your camera on, and you can engage with the speakers directly, okay? And get some of your most pressing questions answered. Also, let's talk about the code of conduct, okay? Because we in this together. All right, we got to be in this together. We got to treat each other with respect, okay? So before we dive in, and a quick note on our code of conduct. Fundraising AI is committed to creating a safe, respectful, and a welcoming space for everyone. Harassment, discrimination, or intimidation of any kind will not be tolerated. What did I say yesterday? Okay, our good sis Mary J. Blige said, ain't no hateration in this dancery. Okay, so we ain't gonna do any of that here, all right? Please treat everyone with professionalism and respect so we can all focus on learning and connection. If you experience or witness anything concerning, DM the producers here in Air Me or email summit@fundraising.ai. Let's work together to make this an inspiring and inclusive experience for us all. Also, y'all, shout out to our sponsors, okay? Because we would not be able to be here. You would not be able to see all of this live and in living color without these amazing and incredible sponsors. Thank you so much to everyone on this. And also thank you to our presenting partners, Virtuous and Giving Tuesday. As y'all know, Giving Tuesday is the global movement inspiring generosity every day, everywhere, all the time, always. It's Giving More Than Tuesday, okay? They said, how about you give every day? And that's what they're doing here in a shining example with this conference. Also, Virtuous is the responsive fundraising platform helping nonprofits build meaningful supporter connections and grow impact with confidence. Their partnership ensures this event and all this learning is free for you, okay? We're so grateful for their investment in helping you amplify your impact. Also, let's get into Summit Plus, okay? I always say Summit Plus, not Summit Minus, okay? It is powered by our friends at Play. Okay, you can tell an amazing organization by their leader, okay? And I got to meet the one and only founder and CEO of Play, Kaz McGrath, okay? Kaz, if you're watching this, I just got to give you a shout out because you're one of one, okay? And we're so grateful for you, so thankful for you that you are out here doing all this amazing work. But y'all, this is the biggest thing that we get to hear every single day. We say, when the conference is over, how do we take these learnings into action, right? I don't want you to just come here, learn, hear a couple things. I want you to implement it, right? So you will have the opportunity to implement it with Summit Plus, okay? And we got 2 paths for you to choose from. Okay, so first, you can join a 3-week AI immersion, either the leadership track or the capability track, and then you get unlimited AI Spark sessions for a whole year, okay? Or if you're just testing the waters, you say, I want to figure it out a little bit, that's okay, dabble in there. You have the AI Sparks annual pass. It is over $5,000 in value, and we're offering it for up to $665 until September 17th, y'all, okay? So, you know what to do. Click that little button that my good sis Prince is gonna put on the stage, okay? Or scan the QR code, okay? You enter the code FAI Summit, okay? And you'll be able to take advantage of everything, okay? Also, if y'all want to be like somebody, if y'all have a dream or a goal and you're like, who do I want to be like? Who can I channel? If y'all don't know Jacqueline from yesterday, let me tell you, Jacqueline was in the chat, okay? I don't know if Jacqueline is here this morning, but Jacqueline teaches your ways, okay? Because Jacqueline said, I'm going to take this challenge and I'm going to rise to the challenge, okay? Come on, somebody. Y'all, we are giving you the opportunity to do the Amplify Engagement Challenge, okay? Amplify Engagement Challenge. Y'all, I want you to take advantage of it. Do comments, do posts, ask questions. You know the drill, okay? Get into it, all right? And you're going to watch yourself rise throughout that leaderboard, okay? All right, friends, now is the time. Now is the time for our first session, and I am so excited, okay? Because I am joined by some pioneers in this space, okay? We got the one and only amazing founder of Fundraising AI and my good friend, Mallory Erickson. We also have Jamie Tworkowski, and we have Tucker Wannamaker, and yours truly. But y'all, I'm gonna let Mallory do the introductions, okay? Y'all, are y'all ready to get started? Are y'all ready to get started? I know I am. So Mallory, please join me on this stage.
Hello. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh my gosh, Floyd, thank you for kicking us off with that kind of energy. I was absorbed in the chat. I like kind of lost track of the fact that we were online now because I've just been in my Floyd good morning energy. But we're so
So
excited
good.
to be here today. Should everybody, Floyd, give a just quick intro to themselves and then we'll dive into the topic, or did you go through everything already?
Well, I actually want to introduce each and every one of y'all. So I would love to start with Jamie. Jamie is the founder of To Write Love on Her Arms, a nonprofit
Mm,
presenting hope and finding help for people struggling with depression, addiction, self-injury, and suicide. Through his
mm,
writing, speaking, and advocacy, Jamie has become a powerful voice for mental health awareness and community support. His work has inspired millions worldwide, emphasizing the importance of storytelling and human connection in healing and change. And y'all, I'm not gonna lie, his countenance is just calm. Okay, just get into this is the life. Okay, I can see it from here. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jamie.
Thanks for that
love it.
intro, and I'm glad to be here.
And also, we have the one and only Tucker Wannamaker. Tucker facilitates leadership development experiences that help impact driven leaders overcome burnout, change fatigue, and lack of clarity. Using neuroscience, mindfulness, and human centered approaches, he equips teams to align strengths and build healthier, more agile workplaces. With 15 years of experience, he has designed leadership and strategic planning programs for organizations including United Way, YMCA, and the Alaska Community Foundation, following earlier roles at Ashoka, Character.org, and Youth Service America. Welcome, Tucker.
What's up, Floyd? Thank you, my man.
I'm so happy to have you here.
Yeah,
Mallory,
good to be here.
what? So should I read it down again? Because listen, we already know you accomplished, friend. Let me just, y'all know Mallory, okay? I gotta say, I'm so grateful for all you do. Not only are you the co-founder of Fundraising AI, but you're the CEO of Proactivated. You've helped over 60,000 fundraisers by blending executive coaching, behavior design, and strategic fundraising. And you're the host and the author of What the Fundraising. Come on, somebody. Can y'all help us welcome the one and only Mallory?
Welcome.
Thank you, Floyd.
And y'all, I'm super excited to join this conversation. Obviously, I'm a speaker, coach, and community builder, but I'm also the founder of Back Black. We work with some of the leading fundraising platforms, corporate partners, and more to help advocate for Black-led nonprofits. To date, we've helped raise over $2 million for Black-led nonprofits around the country, and we are just getting started. So I'm excited to join this conversation as well. Okay, let's do this thing.
Can we get a shout out from Floyd Jones real quick? That's all. Come on, Floyd Jones. That's right.
Yeah, Floyd.
This is such a special group of folks coming together for this conversation. We had an epic day one, as I know Floyd was recapping. And the amazing thing about the Fundraising AI Global Summit every year is that there is so much information, incredible speakers. I mean, we are just like blessed with all of the brilliance and resources and ideas. And I'll be honest, one of the hardest things about doing this summit every single year is knowing that everybody is at different phases in their AI adoption, curiosity, wonder. And so, in providing so many resources to meet everybody where they're at, there can also be a little bit of overwhelm in all of the different kind of like material and learning that folks are absorbing over these few days. And I actually feel like I was saying backstage, like a huge tribute to Floyd, because I think like the energy is just like off the hook this conference, and people have this incredible sense of like motivation and inspiration. And it's been amazing to watch and witness and be a part of. And we know, and this is a lot of what my work focuses on in terms of the neuroscience also, is that we know in a moment like this where we are connected, where we are in community, where we are inspired, we are motivated, we are like, yeah, tomorrow I'm going to do blah, 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 and I'm going to do all the things. And then we get to tomorrow and we're like, oh my God, why did I ask for all those slide decks? Like, What am I
Right.
going to do with these 45 tabs opened now? And the overwhelm kicks in a little bit. And so, whether people are feeling overwhelmed today, whether they were feeling overwhelmed yesterday, or whether they're going to feel overwhelmed tomorrow, we wanted to take a moment and have a conversation about that overwhelm, how to slow down, how to get grounded, how to lead with clarity, even in the midst of all this. So, I'm super, super excited to be talking with three incredible leaders in this space
Mm.
about this today. So I'm going to just sort of like open it up for my first question, which is like, we've all felt the pressure to keep up with something. Right
Mhm.
now, it certainly feels like AI is like at the top of that list for a lot of people. What does
Mm.
overwhelm look like in your world? Like, how do you think about it, maybe in terms of your own life, but also in terms of how you support the people in your communities? Who wants to start us off?
I'm nominating Tucker.
I love being voluntold. Uh, you know, overwhelm has changed for me. I've been probably on this journey over the last year, especially of learning how to not strive so much, which is funny because I'm an entrepreneur, social entrepreneur, started two businesses, started two nonprofits, sold one. I mean, it, I've strived a lot in my life, and I'm learning that it's not as worth it as I thought it was. But
Mm,
Mm.
but it's funny because I'm actually here in Cleveland. I'm typically from Denver, Colorado, but I'm here in Cleveland at a conference, and there's a dear friend of mine named Anna Lyada. And the other day I was telling her, I was like, I've just been feeling a lot of anxiety, and I've been the more I've been slowing down, the more I've been noticing how much anxiety I really have. Like one of my words for this year is the
Mm.
word unforced.
mm.
And y'all, let me tell you, that has been one of the deepest words that I've had probably in all the years I've done words for the year. Um, because I've been seeing and noticing how many things I'm trying to force.
Mm.
Mm.
Uh, and like, then why am I trying to force it? Well, most of it's because I feel some sense of anxiety inside, and I'm like, we need to go, we need to do, and it's usually scarcity
Mm.
driven. And
Mm.
so, it's some form of I'm not enough. Like you talk about overwhelm, Mallory. So much of what I've seen in myself is that it's some form of scarcity. I'm not enough. There's not enough. We're not
Mm.
investing enough in AI. We don't have enough people trained in that, right? Whatever the latest scarcity is, it's some form of not enough.
Mm.
Mm.
And but as I've realized what's in here, I'm like, why am I trying to force all this stuff? Like when I
Mm.
work with companies or organizations, and they have all this urgency, and it's not to say that there aren't urgent things. I remember working with the Pueblo Rape Crisis Center in Pueblo, Colorado. They're now called Juniper, and just by their old name, you can hear what they work in. And I remember when we worked with them on some rhythms for their organization, and she said something so powerful. Her name was Kirsten. She said, even though we work with people in crisis, we don't need to be in crisis.
Mm.
And I was like, how do we create those conditions? Because if we constantly are in crisis, in scarcity, in some form of not enough, we're constantly putting that overwhelm on ourselves. Um, so those are the things that I've noticed is the overwhelm comes from within most of the time. Now, doesn't mean that there's not a lot of overwhelm out there. I mean, last week has been a wild week in our country. Um, and a lot of the news cycles can be overwhelming. The pain of the people that we're serving can be overwhelming. I mean, there's a lot of overwhelm that's out there. But even though sometimes there is crisis out there, it doesn't mean we need to be in crisis. It doesn't mean we need to own that energy. So
Mm.
those are some of the things that come up for me.
Mm. I want to like take that and Jamie, I don't know if you want to kick us off here, but I'm curious about the word. I love that unforced idea. And I'm curious about the word should, right? Like, I feel like we should all over ourselves a lot. And, related to AI and beyond. But when you think about that, like, how do you help leaders or folks in your communities move past maybe like shame or the sense of being behind when it comes to
Yeah,
that stuff?
this is a different context, but I think the same thing. I lead two groups that meet weekly, and one, this is literally a story from last night, and I won't say the person's name, but there was this moment that was really significant. And essentially this woman said, like, basically we get together last night, we were literally together for 4.5 hours. And it's like, we go deep, we talk about life. And she basically said, I need to buy a house. I'm behind. There was like deep grief wrapped up in it. Her dad had passed. My dad wanted me to buy a house. Like, I have to buy a house, you know? And I just instantly, and I like called myself out, like vigilante counselor was like, hey, what is this? Like, this is not about a house. Like, what is underneath this, you know? And I also could see like she was overwhelmed. Like she was exhausted. There was so much wrapped up in it. And people get a good chunk of time to kind of talk about their week. But I knew, like, in a way, everything else was secondary because we had to just talk to her, speak to the overwhelm, like speak to, are you okay? Like, you know, like, what do you need? I know you think you need a home, and also validating it. Like, man, I don't own a home. I wish I owned a home. I wish everyone who wants to could own a home, you know? But I also said, like, I could hear her judging herself. And most of the people in the group are not homeowners. And I said, I don't think you think less of any of us for being renters. So I wish you could treat yourself the way you treat us, you know, like the grace, you probably don't even notice, right? You're just like, whatever. And so it was just an interesting moment. And I think you can, you know, that I think applies to different contexts. I now no longer remember your question, and I'm just saying things, but I think I did a 6-day intensive at a place called Onsite, and there's a guy named Miles Adcox who owns and leads Onsite, and I think something he shared that has stayed with me is just basically like, a person has to feel safe in order to get to anything else, like any recovery, any healing, anything else you want to talk about, think about, work on. If that person's basic needs are not met, like if you do not feel physically and emotionally safe. So I think in a way I thought of that where it's just like, you have to start with the overwhelm. And of course, like, I think that can be grief, that can be exhaustion, that can come from a lot of different reasons. But to me, it's like the fundraising and AI piece becomes very secondary. And you're just talking about, like, as a human, what do you need to be okay? Like, and I think I learned, and I'll shut up after this, like, I got comfortable standing on various stages, telling everyone else it's okay to go to therapy and you're made to be known and you need connection and healthy boundaries, while simultaneously, like, and it's not that I was trying to be a fraud, but it was like, oh, this work is so important. So I have to keep doing it. Right. Like, and it's one thing to say it and even believe it. And it's another thing to live that out and to be willing to actually have those boundaries and enforce those boundaries and slow down and do the things that are not as sexy as, you know, being a part of this or speaking here, right? Where I don't know. So those are my thoughts.
I love
Okay,
that, Jamie.
yeah, so good. And Floyd, I'm gonna pass this one to you because Jamie, in listening to you say that, and even Tucker, what you were saying before, I can't get this like scarcity mindset mention out of my head. And I'm thinking about the way that we talk about AI. And Floyd, you've been seeing everything that's been happening in the chat and all of the different ways we've been talking about AI over the last day or so here. And there's this piece around so much of how we talk about the virtue of AI is actually kind of rooted in scarcity mindset, right? It's like, save time. Like, you need more time. You don't have enough this. Like, you need this thing because you're not enough or can't do enough or fast enough or whatever without this thing. What is that like? How do you think about, because I know that so much of what Jamie and Tucker are talking about are things you and I have talked about over the years around, like, how do we show up as enough in the way that we are and not fall into those traps of scarcity. How do you like think about how nonprofits can hold both, like, one, recognizing the virtues of efficiency and because that is true, without falling into the, like, I'm not enough if I don't have X or if I'm not doing blank?
I would say The first thing that comes to me is understanding what and who is your source, and what is enough, who is enough, who is setting the bar, what is setting the bar, why is that the bar, right? Like, getting curious and asking questions is the most important thing we can do. I've been working with a coach recently, and y'all know I have very different modes of me, and I'm so grateful for people like Mallory, who has been able to see all the different modes of Floyd and giving safe space for the different versions. But one of the things that this coach has been helping me to do is get still and ask, where is this emotion, like where is it showing up in your body, right? Like, where is it actually showing up? Because so many different times we focus on, we had to move, we had to make an action, we had to do something, right? As opposed to getting clear. I said this yesterday, and it's a mantra for my life: get clear why you are here. It's not just about the mission of your organization, it's about the mission of your life, right? Get clear on why you are also here in this moment, right? And get clear on what is showing up, where is it showing up in your body, and what is it trying to say to you. Our lives are always speaking to us. But you know what else is speaking to us? The media, the distractions, the stress around us. And I would be remiss also if I didn't mention the structural overwhelm that we're operating in, right?
Oh, yeah.
I work with a lot of organizations, particularly led by people of color. And a lot of them don't even have time to start implementing these things. We talk about not having enough time. Well, the time thing is very real, right? And so we have to acknowledge all of these different pieces. And that's when it goes back to inside, because your life will tell you what's most important right now. And you have to be able to honor if what is most important to you right now is not what's most important to the person down the street, right? And when we get stuck in this comparison trap, in this comparison loop, that's what holds us back, right? When we're seeing what Jamie is doing, because Jamie's out here writing books, okay? Jamie's out here on stage. I said, hold on, I gotta be like Amy, right? Tucker's out here facilitating workshops, okay? Mallory's out here starting companies and getting venture capital. I said, hold on a second, because what am I? But no, that's not what life is speaking to me right now. And if we can just get okay with what life is speaking to us and operating from what life is speaking to us, I think that we would start to see things slow down. That wave that feels overwhelming, I think we would start to see it slow down a little bit.
Well, can I double tap on that too, Floyd? But I also want to speak to it from a data perspective that there's a really powerful data set that comes out of Leadership Circle that speaks to, and Leadership Circle is an organization company that's done like somewhere in the 65,000 plus Leadership 360s. And if any of you have never done a Leadership 360 for yourself, I highly encourage it, but be careful. It's also very vulnerable, which is basically your peers and your boss and whoever else sharing anonymously about your leadership, which is not your role, but leadership, we believe, is much more about influence. And so when we even say things like conscious leadership, we're talking about growing in your awareness. And I love, Floyd, you were talking about growing in your awareness, your consciousness of your leadership and what's really happening within that's driving these things. But there's a data set that I love, which basically said, and I'll show you on my iPad here, that reactivity-based leadership is low performing leadership. And by reactivity, I mean when you have no idea, we like to say with reactivity that reactivity is really when demands are exceeding resources available to you. It sends your brain and your body into spirals downward of reactivity, and it creates stress and self-doubt. Well, that is correlated with a negative correlation of all the things that we want: greater impact, team cohesion. But when we're in creativity-based leadership, and by the way, by creativity, we're meaning a set of different skills, one of them being self-awareness. These are a set of leadership skills that lead to high performance leadership that have a positive correlation of all the things that we want. And so what Floyd is saying is not just like, oh, that's nice, Floyd, although it is awesome. It's actually grounded in leadership skills and leadership data. And so I just want to speak to that. This is real. And I'll I'll finish with this piece. It was really fascinating. There was a white paper. I can't remember where it was, but it was a white paper that came out from Leadership Circle, and they said the lowest reactive based leaders over assess themselves the most in self-awareness, which of course is super ironic, right? Those who are the least self-aware over assess themselves in self-awareness. And so if any of you are thinking this is what Floyd was talking about, Jamie, me, or Mallory were talking about, if any of you think this may not be for you, I just want to encourage you to explore your own self-awareness and realize that is actually one of the harder journeys, but it's actually one of the most worthwhile journeys of going down this path of becoming conscious to your own leadership, which is how you are influencing not only yourself, your family, but also the nonprofit and the people you serve.
Yeah, there's so much in there that I want to double click on. I think part of what you're showing in those graphs, right, is related to nervous system dysregulation and regulation, right? So reactivity, thinking about like fight, flight, freeze, all of those. And we started the conference yesterday, and Floyd, I know, brought this theme through, and I was talking about it on my stage around like being in the driver's seat, right? Like so much of AI adoption is often in reaction mode. I better have this tool or else, right? And that roots back to some of that scarcity stuff. Like I won't be good enough. I won't have this or else, versus that conscious based choice of like really being problem aware in terms of what's happening inside your organization, being on offense in terms of choosing the tech tools and resources that are going to be the most valuable for you. And so that really is like from a more grounded, regulated state, we're able to be more curious. We're able to lead in that way. We're able to wonder. And I think like that awareness, you know, so much of what you were talking about, Floyd, that question of like, where are we slowing down and where are we speeding up? And did we choose those things, right? Like I'm fast. Like I love moving fast and it feels good to my body. I have ADHD, like, and, you know, a lot of where I get joy from is like in play and things that are moving at a certain speed. And I think that's okay as long as I'm choosing it, right? As long as I'm not going so fast, because I feel like if I don't, I'm behind. And so there's this, and this goes into what everybody's been saying around consciousness around those thought patterns. What's driving it? Where is it coming from? Why are we showing up that way? And so much of just that like conscious layer around decision making gives us the ability to ensure that we're in alignment and in our purpose. And I so appreciate, you know, what everybody shared there. And the last thing I'll just add to this is, you know, 15 years ago, maybe when I started my own self-aware, 20 years ago. Oh my God. Am I that old? 20 years ago, when I started my own journey, when I worked with my first coach, I used to do yoga a lot. I was a runner. And I started to do yoga for runners. It was like something in Boston at the time. And y'all, I would leave during Shavasana. The last pose of the yoga class where they have you lay on the floor still, I would get up and leave. I would say in my head, I'd be like, I don't have time for this. Like, I'm not stretching anymore. This is not helping my running. I do not have time for this. For these 3 minutes on the ground still. And she really made me look at that story. What don't I have time for? What am I saying there? What am I saying I don't have time for? And Floyd, to your point, like, yes, time is a finite resource. That is true. That is real. But I also would urge everybody to look at what they are telling themselves they don't have time for, because that roots back into a lot of what we believe we deserve and a lot of some of the like self-fulfilling prophecies. And we do have more agency and choice. It doesn't have to be like you're taking a random day off in the middle of the week. It can be you deserve to get up, leave your desk, go for a walk, like whatever that is. So, okay, I've talked for way too long. I want to know from all of you, what are some of those little practices, whether it's a question that you ask yourself or a morning journal or a daily ritual? What are the practices either in your lives or that you bring into your life, into your work with clients and community, that you feel like really help people stay grounded and in that choice?
Mm.
Dude, I just want to officially, everyone needs to shout out Tucker's tech moment of brilliance a few minutes ago.
Oh, hail Tucker. I have no idea how he did that.
Like, in a way, it undermines this whole conversation because it's not a contest. You don't have to perform, and Tucker just won the contest. So
and I said, where did we go? Like, how did
I was like, that would have taken me 2 hours to figure out how to share that slide. And he's like, I have this ready, and I'd like to show you.
iPad,
And then I'll circle.
iPad.
Yeah, he's like, let me put a circle around. And I was like, what?
I love
That's so funny. Thanks, Jamie. Go ahead, Jamie.
I have this nerdy routine, and it's like 15 years old. It's maybe not the smartest financially, but basically every morning, and by that, the basically is just my insecurity. So every morning, I go to Starbucks and I get essentially the same thing unless they're out of it. And I sit and read hoopshype.com. And that is how my day starts. Like, pretty much no matter where I am, unless it's like absurd, like it's 40 minutes to Starbucks, you know? And all I've figured out is, like, a lot of times it's like my favorite part of the day. It's just this, and no matter where I am, no matter what is different, it's just this like little anchor, you know, that is just this me time. And yeah, it's just, I can't believe it's been that long. Floyd and I were talking about, I lived in New York 15 years ago, and I think I started doing it then and have done it ever since. And it's incredibly random, but that is something that, because in a way, it's like, it's not the most efficient way to start. You know, it's not like, there are things that don't make sense about it, but it feels good to me. So.
I would say for me, I have a few practices that I've been working towards, it's kind of couched up by this particular phrase. And yes, I'm going to share my iPad again, but it is pause, notice, choose. This came from a dear mentor of mine that it really helps me to understand how to create space between my own reactivity or any sort of trigger or any sort of anything, right? That I was feeling, and then how do I pause? Which really, pause is leveraging your breath. Like, breath is the bridge. If you think about pause, breath is the bridge, and it's specifically a bridge. Like, physiologically, you can leverage your breath. And I saw breath work a few times up in here. You can, I mean, literally, when your mom said take a deep breath, that was not just like good old mom wisdom. That was grounded in physiology. Is that when you take deep diaphragmatic breath, aka big belly breaths, like if you were I'm curious who was in choir, growing up. I was in choir for sure, and I didn't realize how my choir teacher was actually teaching me great breath practices, not just for singing, but actually for regulation of my nervous system. Mallory, you said it earlier. When you take deep breath, I like to do deep in for 4, hold it for 6, and then breathe out slowly with pursed lips for 8. That one really fits my body really well. But everybody has different, it's all about trying things and seeing what fits with who you are. There's no one size fits all, but the pause has been really helpful because between stimulus and response, you can create space. And that's to me, that's that's what has been the goal. And then the notice piece is even more powerful because it's being able to observe without judgment or blame. Have y'all noticed how fast we all, and especially this last week, have noticed how fast we all step into judgment and blame without even noticing what may even be happening, what is. So that's where pause comes to regulate first, and then notice, and notice it by reflecting on what without judgment or blame. And then also, like, there's an old it's called affect labeling, but most of you know it as name it to tame it, right? That's actually a psychological term, which is basically if you can unpack the naming of what's going on, and not just I'm angry, but like keep going into more specificity. My mom used to tell me, this tells you some of my upbringing, if it's vague, it's not from the Holy Spirit. That's what she used to tell me. So like
You're
the more
giving us
specific you can get, the more specific you can get in the noticing, the more you can unpack it and understand it, and then you can choose. And that's a conscious choice. And you might ask yourself a question like, what matters most for right now for my relationships, or something like that. So that's been a tool that a dear mentor of mine taught me, that we teach to a lot of nonprofit and impact-driven leaders, that has been so instrumental, just to have a process map almost, right? So pause, knows, choose has been a lot of practice for me.
I love all of that. Floyd, I know. Floyd, what about for you? What are the tools? What have you seen that's made a difference in your life and in the lives of the organizations you work with?
Yes. First of all, I'm just catching my breath because Tucker, you're giving us slides, you're giving us sayings, you're giving us all the things today. So thank you. I think for me, it's a consistent thing. I wake up every morning and I start my day. I've started my day the same way for years now. Actually, I've journaled every day for the last 5 years. And I review sometimes. I'm like, where was I this time last year or 2 years ago? And like, I try to reflect on that, but I journal every morning. I pray every morning. I write down 3 affirmations. I write down 3 gratitudes, and I write down 3 goals for the day. Like those are like my regular anchoring practices. And once I get that done, I go to the gym, and then I come back and start my day. I wake up at like 5:30 though, so that's why I have time. But I also have been honoring my bedtime routine and like really like I feel like in order to have a good day, it starts with having a good night. That's like one big thing that I've learned.
That's good.
And then I also think I really focus a lot on, I feel like for years, I prayed a lot about being a good leader. Like at first I was like, oh, I want to have a good team and all that different stuff. And now I'm like realizing, no, like in order to have a good team, you have to be a good leader, you know? And like, I invest so much, believe it or not, but every single year I have a $10,000+ budget for coaching. I just set it aside because I'm like, I know that I need coaching. I know I can only be as good as my current level, right? And so I'm always investing in learning. And then I also have a village, right? I have a village of people who I really trust and who I know me and who I allow to speak into me and say, what are my blind spots, right? Like, help me see, right? It's not just me trying to do this on my own. And so I lean on a lot of different things. My therapist is like, you got a lot of tools. I'm like, yes, because it takes a lot to get to here. Come on, somebody. So yes.
Yeah.
Mallory.
Go ahead.
I have a tiny, it's not even a story. It's a thing, an anecdote.
Please.
And I hope I didn't share this last time we hung out because it would be a rerun. But it's like a conference context like this. And this is early days of the organization. Like I'm just starting to get invited to things, and I'm getting invited to speak, and I'm wide-eyed and just like, wow, doors are opening. And at the time, undiagnosed ADHD. We talked about ADHD the last time I saw you. And so conferences can be a lot for me, like a stacked day, hours and hours of paying attention. And it can feel like school, or it can feel like, okay, I got, this is what everyone's doing. I got to do this. And I got invited to speak at this event in New York City, and it was like, felt like a big deal. And I invited a friend who was actually my youth pastor growing up. And I spoke in the morning, and he was my +1, came to be with me. And it's the lunch break, and he just, I think we were talking about like, man, what a morning. Like, this was great. This was amazing. Like all these different speakers, all these things we heard and thought about. And he just told me he was done for the day. Like he had enough. And it was not rooted in negativity. It was rooted in like, my cup is full. This was awesome. I don't care, but I'm like, I just love the freedom and the being himself. And this is not me telling everyone to bail out for the afternoon, but I just, he was safe in his skin enough and knew himself enough to be like, you know what, I'm going to walk around New York City this afternoon. That's what I need. That's what I want. And I don't know, it just gave me permission to be like, wait, you don't just have to do what everyone else does. Like, you can think about your rhythms and what feels healthy and what feels good to you.
I love that story. It's probably been like 18 months now. I stopped drinking. And the main reason I stopped drinking actually was well, after I had my second daughter, I felt like my body kind of stopped metabolizing alcohol well. And I wasn't a big drinker before that, but even when I would just have a few sips of wine, like the next day I would wake up kind of feeling a little blue. And I kept trying to like find something that would work, or, okay, maybe if it's this and, red wine and whatever. And then all of a sudden I realized the only reason I drink is to make other people comfortable. And I realized that it was like the biggest people pleasing habit that I was still maintaining for no other reason than it made other people more comfortable. And I was like, well, that is not a reason to have alcohol in my life. And so but it was a lot to work through. And it still is a lot to work through, not actually because I have any desire to drink, but because I'm like in those moments, where I'm asking Jamie some of those same, like, am I really allowed to do, whatever I want here? Am I really allowed to, move through the world and in this way? And I feel like anytime we have our own back like that, anytime we make those micro decisions, like we prove to ourselves over and over again that we can do more of that. And sometimes it takes seeing somebody else do it to inspire us to do it. But I just want to say, it's so, one of the things that I always like kind of struggle with sometimes as a coach is balancing all of the like rituals and habits and self-awareness and goals with not falling into ways we can be even more self-critical with ourselves about what we don't do, right? Like I tried to do the morning journal thing and like the artist's way for God knows how long, but I have 2 little kids. And I feel like every time I was like, I'm going to wake up at 5:30, somebody didn't sleep through the night, and it was like 4 a.m. and I had a baby with me. And I was like, I'm failing again at this like thing. And so just to like, I think such a big part of everything that I'm hearing from all of us is like that interwoven in all of this is like so much grace, so much self-compassion, so much iteration, trying things, seeing what feels good, seeing what works, letting it go. Like, I just, that relationship with self is so important. So I know I kind of just want to like stay on and talk to y'all like all day. I'm gonna Tucker, I'll hand it to you in 1 second, but I'm gonna end with one question that I want to give everybody a chance to answer, and then please add whatever you're going to that.
Great.
Because I think that I love watching the chat and how surprised people are that we're having this conversation at a technology conference. Floyd, you should have sang that, not me. And I think,
See, come on, qualifying. Go ahead, Tucker.
I'll bring in my bass for that.
But I think this piece around talking about how we feel at a technology conference is so critical. And they're not things that are so often seen together. But I just want everybody to sort of leave folks with, how to move through these maybe real prefrontal cortex decisions, leaving intact their humanity, their feelings, and how to create ongoing space for that and why it matters. So that's my sort of like last question to the group. And Tucker, I'll let you start because I think you had something for before too, and then we'll pass it.
Well, I think what I was going to share too was, we've been talking about a lot of personal practices, but these are practices you can bring into your organization. Like we're working with the Rochester Community Foundation right now, a wonderful CEO over there named Simeon, and they have embraced pause, nose, choose as an example. And like, for example, they literally do breath work, and it doesn't have to be all woo, y'all. Like, this is just physiological stuff. You're welcome to woo all you want, but this is just like grounded in your body. And you all know this, like when somebody's in reactivity, what does that perpetuate? More reactivity, right? If I'm in reactivity, now we are in reactivity. And so how do we create a a collective space of pause. And they've embedded literally breath work. And it's at the very beginning, right? Hey, everybody, can we just take literally 2 minutes to just pause and take a few deep breaths together? That's it, right? It's that simple. And if you do it for the first 5 times, it's going to feel totally awkward. And then after that, it starts to get real like, oh my gosh, why haven't we been doing this for years? But that tends to be like, if you have all these practices that we do, you know, personally, like what are some of the ways that you can bring that into your organization? Because what I've learned around the neuroscience piece, especially when we're doing like strategic planning, is that if people are in reactivity, it's really hard to get into strategic activity. Right? If our brains are not in a place of learning and openness, then you know, it's for example, from a strategic perspective, if I always like to say a way of leadership that is not as effective is trying to get strategy first and then doing belonging afterwards. Right? Or we call that buy-in, right? Like good old strategic plan sitting on the shelf gathering dust. Like, yeah, let's come up with a strategy in our leadership cave and then come out and try to get everybody's buy-in. Well, what if we flip the script that actually matches with our neuroscience, and let's create the conditions that allow for us to pause as a team to regulate ourselves, invite people into questions, and co-create our futures together. Like that to me is where personal meets organizational. We're whole humans. We don't have our work life and our home life. That to me, that's actually way more of a fallacy than not. And it doesn't mean, you know, many of you may be asking, well, what does that even mean? You know, like, does that mean I talk about all of my deep dark secrets as a personal? Probably not. But I think part of this is learning and leaning into how do I be a whole human at work? Because what is happening at home affects me at work, and what is happening at work affects me at home. So I don't know if I'm answering your question, Mallory, but those are the things I wanted to share was bringing this in because it helps.
I love that.
So good, Mallory. What was your question? Genuinely, that's not me trying to be funny. I need.
I wanted to maybe leave folks with how they can create space for their feelings as it relates to things maybe as tactile as technology adoption moving forward, and like why that's so important. And I think actually, Tucker, that's a great way to kick it off because it's about leaving space not just for your own feelings, but for your team and for your communities, and recognizing that people's human experience is going to be a part of this ongoing. And so I love that start. Jamie, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I think a simple thought. Someone shared this with me, and it's so incredibly basic, but I experienced it as profound, and it stayed with me. And it was just basically the idea that, like, if we want to say yes to some different things, to some new things, to things that lead to change, we will have to say no to some other things, right? Because I think we live the typical thing is like, oh, I just got to sleep less. I got to cut corners. I got to do more. I got to be strong. And, you know, I got to perform more. And it was so logical, but it was like, well, yeah, there's only so much of me. There's only so much of my time and energy and focus. So I'm probably gonna have to get rid of some stuff if I want to make room for some other stuff. And I was like, whoa. So that's a thought.
That's good.
Ooh, the last thing I would say, and this is like, you know, if y'all have gone to any of my little talks, one of the things that is my personal mantra is that alignment determines your assignment. Alignment determines your assignment. And I realized that that is so true in transitioning into this like leader role and having team members. And I'm like, oh, like noticing, hey, like this task isn't really aligned for you and your best output. Like, let's change that, right? Even me changing and transitioning my entire business and how I move throughout the world to things that I really feel aligned with. And I notice that when you are in alignment, the world opens up for you to operate in your alignment because that's how you are serving your highest good. And you have to honor and trust that we are not meant to live in a space of overwhelm all the time. Like we're not meant, our bodies are not meant to feel stressed out and feel like there's not enough and feel like we're gonna lose our job and feel like people are coming after us and feel like AI is we're not meant to live like that. If you don't feel good, if you wake up actually dreading to go to your office or going into your work or doing an assignment, listen to what it is saying to you. I promise you that has been the biggest and the greatest unlock of my life, is listening to where my soul feels most aligned, where I feel the most alive, where the people who make my nervous system calm down. I just spend time with those things. Right? And I outsource the other things, right? And as it relates to tech and AI and all the different stuff, pay attention to what feels good. And I'm not saying run from the things that feel bad. We don't do that because we're trying to amplify impact, right? Right? But listen to what it is saying. Because if you get still enough and you listen long enough, I promise you that will lead you in the direction that you need to go into.
So good.
Okay, so good. I know we're almost out of time. I just remembered I have a 30-minute, it's totally free stress management course. If you want more cognitive strategies, somatic strategies, you can grab it. I just dropped it in the chat. The last thing I just want to say to some of the comments in the chat, because I think this is a really important piece. We've talked a lot about like slowing down and grounding down and down regulation activities. And I want to recognize that for a lot of people, up regulation is actually a part of how they down regulate. So I saw people talking about dancing and music. I have a mini trampoline. So this just goes back to like that same piece around listening to your body, what you need. There's no one right way to calm down. Like I remember when people telling me to take deep breaths before I'd get on stage, and it would make me so anxious. And the moment I was like, what do you mean? Like I'm trapped in my body now. But the moment I started dancing, like it actually calmed me down. So this is so much of that awareness, that conscious choice. I know I have to get over to the innovation stage. I hope to see a lot of you there. Tucker and Jamie are going to be continuing this conversation in the lounge, and we have to give the Amplify stage back to Floyd and all the other amazing guests we have on the stage. Thank you all so much for this conversation. I hope you go back and read the chat later today, because just the love for all of you. I give it up, please, for our guests one more time. Show them the love. This was the perfect way to start day 2. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great
all
work, Mallory.
Space with us. Thank you to Jamie, Tucker, Mal. This was so awesome. It was so beautiful. So thank you all. Y'all, that was just mind-boggling, mind-blowing, and it was also so healing. And it's so beautiful that we all get to do this together. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, fam. So what y'all think about this session? It's my first time saying y'all can rate me a little bit. So go ahead and y'all know what to do, okay? We need some good feedback. So please let us know your thoughts on that session. And then also, Mal just mentioned, but Jamie and Tucker are going to be in the lounge, Beyond the Noise, leading with clarity in an AI world. Please, please, please go and join in that session. If you go to the reception and you click the lounge button, you will be able to see that lounge session live. Join in, join them, and all the things. Okay, so our next sessions are live. We're about to kick things off. On the Amplify stage with me is Empowered AI, building inclusive and responsible human-first technology. On the Innovation stage, it's from meh to mighty, maximize your fundraising with agents. And Impact stage is making the case, how to justify board and leadership investment in AI. Y'all know how to get there. Top right corner, you're going to see the schedule, bookmark your sessions, and join in. And I will see you guys on the Amplify stage in just a second. Thank you all so much.